Chapter 21 One-Sided Battle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, you, should we jump in and help? Four Eyes asked in the 7th floor hallway. We gotta. Let's go, let's get down there. Guan Li responded instantly. He knew what Guan Li was capable of, and he was willing to take a chance. They hesitated for a second, then took off after him. The two sides clashed immediately. Huang Lintian's crew was riding high. He figured these skeleton warriors would be pushovers. Everyone's played online games, right? Skeletons are always the bottom-tier cannon fodder, but they forgot this was real life. Alright, boneheads, time to kick the bucket. Some kid yelled, swinging a fire axe at one of the skeletons. The next second, his grin vanished. The axe glanced off the skeleton, barely leaving a scratch. The skeleton didn't even notice. Whack. The skeleton warrior swung its bone blade and lopped off the kid's head clean. His head rolled, eyes wide and staring, totally messed up. He couldn't figure out how the skeletons were so strong. In the blink of an eye, 20+ students were down for the count. The sudden turn of events blindsided Huang Lintian. He thought Guan Li was running on fumes and this would be easy. Alright, hotshot, don't get too cocky. Time for some ice magic. Ice blast. A staff appeared in Huang Lintian's hand. It was a crude thing, like it was made out of some vine. He raised the staff and unleashed the spell at the densest group of skeletons. The ice element exploded. Boom. Several skeletons went flying. Their bones were coated in a layer of ice. Huh. A magician, huh. Interesting. Guan Li quickly spotted Huang Lintian hanging back in the crowd. No wonder he was bold enough to try a sneak attack. He had a trick up his sleeve. But an ice magician wasn't going to cut it. Shen Lian. Take that guy out for me. Guan Li said, pointing at Huang Lintian, who was trying to be sneaky. You got it. Shen Lian melted into the shadows, quietly flanking Huang Lintian. With the dark sky, no one noticed the moving shadow on the ground. Huang Lintian only sensed something was wrong when Shen Lian appeared right behind him. Lin Ang. Help me. Huang Lintian yelled, his hair standing on end. He needed Lin Ang's help, ASAP. As an ice magician, he wasn't much good in a straight-up fight. Shen Lian solidified, thrusting his long sword forward. Saving people? No chance. A silver pistol appeared in Guan Li's hand. The second Lin Ang moved, Guan Li squeezed the trigger. Bang. 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 Several shots rang out. Lin Ang caught a bullet and went down. The two-star awakened couldn't take the punishment of bullets. If it were someone with thick skin and tough muscles, it might be a different story, but neither of them were that lucky. Lin Ang was seriously wounded and out of the game. With Huang Lintian in dire straits, he pulled a rabbit out of his hat. A 2-centimeter thick ice shield instantly materialized in front of him. Crack. Shen Lian's sword pierced the shield but missed Huang Lintian. The brief block gave him a chance to dodge, but could he really escape? Time to die. A huge figure loomed over Huang Lintian. A massive shield slammed into his head. Crunch. Huang Lintian's brain splattered, and he collapsed to the ground, limp. Pfft. Trying to sneak attack the boss, huh? Guan Li spat. Playing with fire. The tall figure was obviously Wang Yu. Go for the head honcho first. Guan Li's strategy was clear. Brother Tian is dead. What do we do now? The other student stammered, freaking out at Huang Lintian's sudden demise. Guan Li's forces pressed their advantage, relentlessly pursuing the route. Within seconds, more than a dozen more students had been cut down. Run. Finally, they broke. They all bolted off the playground. If their leader was dead, why even fight? Guan Li ordered his troops to keep on them. He wasn't about to let these guys off the hook. If you play the killer, be ready to get killed. The skeletons might be slow, but they were strong, blessed with 2-star power. Catching up was a breeze. As for the night swordsmen, they were like assassins, striking with deadly precision and disappearing into the night. The fleeing students were helpless against them. The playground turned into a massacre. The screams echoed. Guan Li remained unmoved. In the top-floor performance room, the girls were pale. Guan Li. He's actually killing people. Isn't he afraid of the law? that they all had a sinking feeling, maybe Guan Li was right, the world had really changed. Killing wasn't some distant, abstract concept anymore. Don't kill me. Please. Lin Ong, lying on the ground, was desperately trying to crawl away, his shoulders and arms were riddled with bullet holes. Guan Li stood over him, Qing Feng saber in hand, his face expressionless. If I die, I'm taking you with me. Realizing his pleas were useless, Lin Ong knew he was a goner. He used his mental power to launch a fruit knife at Guan Li. I saw that coming a mile away. Guan Li scoffed, bone armor instantly formed around him, the fruit knife bounced harmlessly off the armor. Guan Li strode forward and planted his foot down on Lin Eng's arm. Ag! A scream of pure agony. How do you like that sneak attack now? Guan Li delivered another kick, this time aimed at the knee, snap, the force of the blow shattered Lin Eng's knee. Ugh! Lin Eng's eyes rolled back, and he nearly passed out from the pain. Just kill me. Kill me, he roared like a wild animal. Your wish is my command. Guan Li showed no mercy and chopped off his head with a single stroke. He didn't want to waste any time. Night had fallen completely, the bodies scattered across the dark playground were barely visible by the faint light emanating from the cards. Moonlight shone down, dimly illuminating the carnage. Kill! The sounds of battle continued in the darkness. Just as Guan Li was about to intervene, he heard a voice from the other side. Boss! Wang Yu's here to help, seriously, Guan Li thought, where were you during the fight, make a note to remember this later, Hold your fire. Guan Li hastily stopped his soldiers. Huff, huff. Wang Yu ran up to Guan Li, catching his breath. Boss, you move fast. Guan Li's expression darkened, note to self. Write this down, It's not that I'm too fast, it's that you're too slow, Guan Li grumbled. Wang Yu wanted to say something, but he knew better than to argue. The entire battle was over in minutes. Unless he could fly, there was no way he could have gotten here sooner. Help clean up the battlefield. Everyone gets 5 one-star crystal cores for their trouble, trust people, but keep an eye on them, Wang Yu's alright. He's not malicious, sure, he's got an angle, but he's still willing to help, Yes sir. Consider it done. All 6 of them lit up, that was like picking up 5 crystal cores for free. Chapter 22 Night Chat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shen Lian, I'm leaving things in your hands. Guan Li shot him a look, and Shen Lian instantly understood, the Night Legion would be even more effective and less restricted operating in the dark. Yes, sir. Shen Lian nodded, understanding Guan Li's intention. Clean up the battlefield and keep an eye on Wang Yu and the others. Guan Li found a clean classroom on the 6th floor. He decided to spend the night there. Several skeleton warriors stood guard around him. He crushed a food card. A huge bird drumstick appeared. It was far too large to fit in any pot. A rich aroma filled the classroom. Bone, want some? Guan Li asked casually. Master, we don't need to eat. Bone replied, gesturing to his skeletal form. Just bones, nothing extra. Right, my bad. Guan Li picked up the drumstick and took a satisfying bite. Man, that's good. Guan Li activated his skills and devoured the leg hungrily, quickly wiping it out. Having eaten his fill, Guan Li took out a 2-star crystal core and began absorbing its energy. It was a gift from the master liquor monster they'd encountered. Master? Can we come in? Wang Yu's voice came from outside the door. Let them in. The skeleton warrior stepped aside, and Wang Yu and the others entered, carrying an old kerosene lamp. Did you send Shen Lian back to get things done? Guan Li asked. You're a genius, master. You're like a modern-day Zhuge Liang. Wang Yu flattered him. Shen Lian said we were too slow and holding them back. Master, we don't need the reward. Wang Yu added, a little embarrassed. Don't worry, I always keep my promises. Guan Li took out 31-star crystal cores from his spatial ring. Master, we don't deserve it. Wang Yu protested, not taking the cores. Just take them. And call me Guan Li. This had been a small test for them. He hadn't truly needed their help, the Knight Swordsman Legion could easily handle cleaning up the battlefield. They'd passed the test, they hadn't stolen anything. Then, thanks, Li. The group accepted the crystal cores, their faces lighting up, they held the cores and began absorbing the energy, their strength improved considerably. Are you about to break through to 2 stars? Guan Li asked, looking at Wang Yu. Wang Yu was close to reaching that level. Yep. Wang Yu confirmed. Here, break through now. Guan Li tossed out 10 more 1-star crystal cores. Wow. Wang Yu was stunned, he looked at Guan Li as if he were casually throwing away jelly beans. Thank you, Li. Wang Yu exclaimed. Wang Yu absorbed the crystal cores, a burst of energy radiated from him, he'd succeeded. Wow. I feel so powerful, so much stronger. Is this what 2-star strength feels like? It's insane. Wang Yu was ecstatic, their stomachs rumbled, time to eat again. Their hungry gazes practically screamed it, 6 food cards were crushed, various delicacies appeared in the classroom, the strong aroma wafted through the top floor. What smells so good? Who's grilling? It's Guan Li. Has to be. Everyone immediately thought of the cold, powerful leader. He was the strongest in Zone Z, not only powerful, but he also had over a dozen followers and skeleton soldiers. People gradually accepted the reality of the situation. A few girls gathered together, discussing something. Wow! Li is so generous. Wang Yu and the others' eyes lit up. Barbecue. Compared to bread, instant noodles, or ham sausage, it was on a whole different level. Stop talking. Meat can't stop your mouth. Right. I'll shut up. Wang Yu didn't waste time. He gnawed on a cow leg, with the variety of delicious seasonings, even a baked slipper would be delicious. They devoured the food, licking their fingers clean. After they finished eating, Guan Li chatted with them, getting to know them better. Wang Yu was from Zone Z. His parents worked at a company, they weren't rich, but they were comfortable. For Eyes was from a single-parent family, raised by his father. Both of Li Meng's parents died when he was a child, and his grandmother raised him. His last relative had passed away a few months before the apocalypse. It was a kind of blessing. Living in this damned apocalypse was a curse. Lu Tianming was from out of town, studying at a university in Zone Z. His parents were ordinary workers. Xiao Bin was also from out of town. His father was a professor, his mother an entrepreneur, and his family was well off. Yu Hai was similar to Li Meng, raised by his grandfather. His grandfather had recently passed away. Sir, the battlefield has been cleaned up. Shen Lian walked in. The Knight Swordsman lurked in the shadows, ready to protect Guan Li at a moment's notice. Good work. Guan Li took the sack from Shen Lian, which was crucial. It is my honor to serve you, sir. Shen Lian retreated. Guan Li used the system to scan the sack. There were 441-star crystal cores and 35 2-star crystal cores, 137 white random cards, 5 green random cards, and 1 dark green random card. There was also a rattan staff, contributed by Huang Lintian. He was broke, so that was all he had. Lin Ong was even poorer. He didn't even have a weapon. Guan Li had bent his only throwing knife. Seeing Guan Li counting the loot, Wang Yu and the others wisely moved away. They found a quiet corner and prepared to sleep. There was no entertainment in the apocalypse. Sleep was the only way to pass the time. They were exhausted, so they soon fell asleep. They weren't worried about safety. The classroom was full of Guan Li's subordinates, snoring. Their snores reached Guan Li's ears. These guys. He left the classroom. In another quiet classroom, Guan Li absorbed the crystal cores. The 2-star crystal cores were quickly absorbed. A warm current washed over his body. Countless cells revived, greedily absorbing the pure energy. The energy in the crystal cores was like tonic. It allowed the human body to evolve. Whoa! Guan Li breathed out. He clenched his fist, feeling his power. I'm probably close to a 2-star senior now. If he fought the mantis again, Guan Li was confident he could win. Chapter 23 Visiting in the Middle of the Night. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After absorbing the crystal core, Guan Li turned his attention to the cards again. First up, the white random cards. food card x30, advanced card x15, supply card x23, pure water x20, machete x1, iron, super sharp, ordinary crossbow x13, incendiary crossbow x3, explodes, creating a burning area of 10 meters, cryo crossbow x2, explodes, freezing targets within 10 meters, lockpick set x1, learn to master all types of lockpicking skills. Glass marbles x2, totally useless. Trash M. Universal pistol rounds x8, enhanced potato seeds x19, genetically modified for better growth. The notifications popped in Guan Li's head one after another as he got the items, not bad for a start, except for those marbles, everything else is at least a little useful. Time to learn lock picking. Suddenly, a flood of knowledge about picking locks rushed into Guan Li's brain. Ding! Congratulations! You've learned lock picking. Handy skill to have, might not be useful right now, but knowledge is power. White cards done. Time for the green cards. Based on how many I'm getting, they must be pretty rare. He immediately crushed all 5 green cards. Rotten burning fruit x1, energy depleted, only partial burning ability remains. Might be tradable. Intermediate advancement card x2, can be used to upgrade a legion. Firearms proficiency x1, learn to expertly use all sorts of firearms. Now I can actually hit what I'm aiming at. Power pill x1, double strength for 1 minute. All green cards used up. Guan Li felt a mix of surprise and disappointment. Disappointed because the quality of these rewards wasn't great, surprised about those 2 intermediate advancement cards. His legion didn't need them to level up yet, but it's better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Learn gun proficiency. Instantly, Guan Li felt like a seasoned gunfighter. He pulled out his Desert Eagle and quickly took it apart. In seconds, he had a pile of pieces on the table. Then, almost as fast, a fully assembled Desert Eagle was back in his hands. Can't have too many skills. As for that rotten burning fruit, it looked a little like an apple, mostly rotten. The exposed pulp had faint flames flickering around it. Guan Li hesitated, but decided not to eat it. Who knows what kind of side effects that rot could cause. Rotten burning fruit, trade value, 5,000 points. Whoa! Seriously? Guan Li was taken aback, then he realized why. It was a fruit that gave you powers, even rotten. It was still worth a lot. He didn't hesitate, he traded it. Rotten burning fruit traded. Received 5,000 points. The points hit his account, and Guan Li felt like he'd just struck gold. The disappointment he had felt before vanished. 1 card left. Guan Li crushed the dark green card. With all those zombies, this card had to be awesome. Legion expansion card x1. Increases the size of a designated legion by 10. Guan Li's eyes lit up. This was great. 10 more members for his legion. What was his biggest advantage right now? The system. The legion. That was the core of everything. Anything that boosted the legion's strength was a win. Guan Li didn't use the legion expansion card right away. The skeleton warriors and knight swordsmen were already pretty strong. He paused to consider. Guan Li went back to the classroom where his legion was stationed. A kerosene lamp in the center of the room gave off a dim light. The light flickered as if it might die out at any second. Besides the lamp, the only light came from the moon shining through the window. Shen Lian. Get ready. You're getting an upgrade, Guan Li said as soon as he entered the room. Yes, sir. Thank you, master. Shen Lian's eyes lit up. System. Upgrade the Knight Swordsman Legion. Guan Li recalled the Knight Swordsman Legion into the system space. Ding. Upgrade the Knight Swordsman Legion. Requires 100 advancement cards. Upgrade them. Do it. Without any hesitation, Guan Li upgraded them. Upgrading the Knight Swordsman cost 100 advancement cards, probably had something to do with how strong they already were. The skeleton warriors were only 1 star when they were upgraded, no point in dwelling on it. He had plenty of advancement cards, so let's go. Upgrading the Knight Swordsman Legion has begun. Guan Li quickly went to the points mall. He bought a simple folding cot for 3 points, basic stuff, not too expensive. He looked at the cot in front of him. Even though it was simple, it was better than sleeping on the floor. Guan Li glanced over at the corner and saw Wang Yu and the others lying every which way on the floor. Ah! Much better than sleeping on the floor. Guan Li messed with the cot a bit and then laid out his folded clothes. He laid down and found a comfortable position. After a long day, it was time to rest. The skeleton warriors didn't need sleep, so they could stand guard. Thump, thump, thump. Guan Li was about to close his eyes, then he heard footsteps in the hallway outside the classroom. Ha! Someone's there. That he was about to get up and check it out when he heard a shout. Ah! Monster! That it was several girls, their voices pleasant. There was a little panic, but still pleasant. Boss! Caught some people. What do you want us to do with them? Gu carried one of the girls and dropped her in front of Guan Li. Gu didn't do things with sympathy. The other 3 girls were tossed down beside her, sitting on his cot. Guan Li looked down at the 4 girls. Wait a minute, that one looks familiar. Guan Li recognized one of the girls on the ground. It was Lin Nana. She wasn't wearing makeup at this point, showing her natural face. She wasn't as dazzling as before, but she still had her innocent charm. He vaguely recognized another one. That was Zhang Xinyue, one of Z University's campus beauties. Rumor had it that her dad was a wealthy entrepreneur in Z City. Because of those 2 things, lots of rich guys were always chasing after her. The old Guan Li would have been a nobody compared to her. Besides Lin Nana and Zhang Xinyue, the other 2 girls were also pretty good looking. In the past, they would have been celebrities, but now, they were a mess. Guan Li looked at the 4 girls sitting on the ground. They came to visit in the middle of the night. Their motives were definitely not innocent. Chapter 24. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Guan Li. Are these all your guys? Zhang Xinyue was the first to speak up. She'd seen these skeleton warriors during the fight earlier. The dim hallway had spooked her before, but now, with the faint light, she could see the skeleton warrior clearly. Even though they were still hideous and scary, they stood respectfully behind Guan Li. Yep. So, what brings you all out so late? Guan Li was sitting on the cot, looking at the 4 of them. They'd startled him awake, and now his sleepiness was gone. He figured he'd chat with them while he waited for the night swordsman to finish leveling up. Guan Li's words immediately made the girls feel uncomfortable. They got up off the ground and brushed themselves off. Listen, Guan Li. Do you still care about me? Lin Nana had been holding it in, but she finally blurted out what was on her mind. She knew it was shameless, but to survive, she figured she couldn't worry about pride. If she could somehow make him change his mind, her safety would be guaranteed. What do you think? Guan Li didn't answer her directly, but threw the question back at her. Lin Nana went quiet. She already knew the answer. At that moment, she was filled with regret. If only she'd agreed to be Guan Li's girlfriend back then. What about you 3? If you don't need anything, don't bother me when I'm sleeping. Gu immediately understood Guan Li's meaning. It started moving toward them, ready to show them out. Wait. I need to ask you something. That it was Zhang Xinyue who spoke. Her delicate face looked exceptionally beautiful in the moonlight. Even though she was a little slender, it didn't detract from her beauty. As the campus queen of Z University, Zhang Xinyue was easily a 10. Spit it out. Guan Li signaled for the skeletons to back off for a minute. I want you to protect me. I'll pay whatever you want, Zhang Xinyue said, blushing. Ha ha ha. You sweet, naive thing. Do you think money still means anything now? Guan Li shook his head. He thought she was adorably clueless. She just wanted someone to protect her. Classic. Zhang Xinyue was speechless. Her delicate little face suddenly turned pale. Deep down, she knew it, but it was hard to accept. Guan Li. I know you're amazing. Can you protect me? Zhang Xinyue's voice was weak, almost pleading. She didn't want to die. Her life had barely begun. Zhang Xinyue's teary eyes gave her a vulnerable look. Seeing her like that, Guan Li felt a pang of sympathy, but Guan Li wasn't about taking advantage of people. If he wanted to, he could rule Z University, but what was the point? Why not work to become stronger rather than indulge in desire? That was just asking for it. The dangers of the apocalypse went far beyond that. Not only were there the monsters from the disasters, but even the zombies everywhere were enough to wipe out humanity. Okay. Don't cry. Guan Li couldn't help himself, he couldn't stand seeing girls cry. As soon as he said that, Zhang Xinyue started crying even harder. Knock it off. As soon as his tone turned cold, Zhang Xinyue stopped instantly. You're asking for it. Do I have to get mad? Guan Li looked at her and snapped, what was chivalry? Guan Li, a hardcore guy, didn't understand it at all. Zhang Xinyue was beautiful, but she was also a liability, a pain to take care of. He thought for a moment that it was better to teach a person to fish than give them a fish. Here. Take these crystal cores. Guan Li tossed out 4 crystal cores. What are these? The 4 held the crystal cores. Looking confused, Guan Li realized they still didn't know what crystal cores did. Hold them in your palm and try to absorb them. Soon, the 4 had absorbed the crystal cores and awakened. This can make us stronger. Zhang Xinyue was surprised. Yep. This is called a crystal core, and it comes from inside a zombie's head. I told you, killing zombies can make you stronger. Besides crystal cores, there are all kinds of magic cards. If you've got the guts, go hunt zombies. It's better to control your own destiny than leave it to someone else. What do you say? Guan Li said earnestly. He could only help so much. What the 4 of them did was up to them. Guan Li believed that women were a vulnerable group. The situation in the apocalypse must be very difficult. Most of them would end up as hangers-on to the strong. As cruel as it was true. In this end-times jungle where the strong preyed on the weak, no one would respect the old, love the young, or care for women and children. Everyone was in danger, who cared about the life and death of others. I have supplies, I can trade with you. If you want to trade, you'd better come early. I'm leaving after dawn tomorrow. Bone. Show them out. Guan Li didn't give them a chance to argue. He'd already heard the system's beep. The Night Swordsman Legion had successfully leveled up. Let's go. Bone stood in front of the 4 of them. Guan Li. I'll be back. Zhang Xinyue had a look of stubbornness in her eyes. She didn't want him to underestimate her. I'll be waiting. Before dawn, Gu drove the 4 of them out of the classroom. What do we do now? Lin Nana and the other 2 girls all looked at Zhang Xinyue. They'd come here hoping Guan Li would protect them. She was already ready to sacrifice herself, but, unexpectedly, Guan Li was completely indifferent. I want to kill zombies. How about you? Zhang Xinyue's mind went back to what Guan Li had said, take control of your own destiny. Guan Li was right, depending on someone strong would always mean abandonment. It's too dangerous. I'd rather go back to the top floor. Lin Nana felt very scared at the thought of those zombies. She'd rather hide. How could she kill them? I agree with Lin Nana. There's safety in numbers. If we stick with everyone, maybe we can wait for rescue. The 2 girls nodded, clearly agreeing with Lin Nana. They didn't want to die, and definitely not at the hands of zombies. Okay. I respect your choice. Whatever happened here, I hope everyone keeps it a secret. Zhang Xinyue finished, turned, and disappeared into the darkness. Ugh. Such a show-off. Kill zombies? I bet she dies. After Zhang Xinyue left, the 3 of them showed expressions of disgust. They weren't as good-looking as Zhang Xinyue, and they didn't come from wealthy backgrounds either. At least now they shared a common enemy. Let's go. Let's go back. That Zhang Xinyue. She's a goner. Guan Li didn't know what happened after the 4 left. Even if he did, he wouldn't have cared. Everyone had their own goals, and if you liked being taken care of, that was your problem. Right now, he was focused on the Legion. Ding! The Night Swordsman Legion has successfully leveled up. Please check it out. The system notification rang in Guan Li's mind. Chapter 25 Shadow Sword Repair. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sweet. I just scored the Shadow Sword Cultivator Legion. The system chimed. He'd just summoned the Shadow Sword crew. We are forever in your debt, my lord. You've given us a new lease on life. Shen Lian dropped to one knee. The rest of the Shadow Swords followed suit. Alright, get up. Guan Li gestured for them to rise. Yes, sir. The Shadow Sword sprang to their feet. standing at attention before Guan Li. He gave them a careful once-over. On the surface, they didn't look much different, still clad in black, each gripping a 3-foot sword, but their aura had undergone a serious upgrade. As shadow swords, their presence was even more subtle than before. Standing in the shadows, they were practically invisible. Guan Li pulled up the Shadow Sword Cultivator Legion stats screen. Shadow Sword Cultivator Core, Advanced. Strength. 3 stars. Potential. 6 stars. Leader. Shen Lian. Skills. Like a shadow, Shadow Sword Art, Shadow True Essence, Shadowless Step, Imperial Sword Art, Shadow Binding. The squad had grown. New skills unlocked. Skills buffed. Strength improved. Straight to 3-star strength. That's insane, Guan Li exclaimed. Each advancement buffed every soldier. System, what's it gonna take to advance the shadow swords again? Guan Li asked. Ding. To advance the Shadow Sword Cultivator Legion again, you need to spend Legion advancement cards and the Legion's strength needs to reach 6 stars. The system's prompt echoed in Guan Li's head. Hold up, strength needs to hit 6 stars first. System. How do I boost the Legion's strength? He muttered, shutting his mouth to speak only in his mind. He could absorb the crystal cores himself, but the Legion couldn't. Legion soldiers are constantly improving. Keep at it, and they will get stronger. You can also use treasures to speed things up. Guan Li nodded. He opened the point store. Everything the Legion needed could be bought here. Ghost grass, full of aura, boosts cultivation speed. Price, 500 points. Magic eagle beast bone, packed with undead power, boosts cultivation speed. Price, 600 points. All sorts of treasures were available to speed up cultivation. Treasures with similar properties could boost it even more. You purchased ghost grass for 500 points. You purchased the magic eagle bone for 600 points. Guan Li didn't hesitate and bought 2 treasures. It was worth the cost, even though it chewed up over 1,000 points. Points were meant to be spent. He couldn't afford the new Legion card at the moment, might as well buff the 2 legions he already had. Guan Li gave the ghost grass to the Shadow Sword Cultivator Legion and the magic eagle beast bone to the Skeleton Warrior Legion. After absorbing the treasure, the strength of the 2 legions made obvious progress. Ding! The Skeleton Warrior Legion breaks through to 3-star strength. The system pinged in his mind. A breakthrough? Guan Li said, surprised. The effect of this magic eagle beast bone is insane. Thanks, boss. The soul flame in the bone eyes burned brighter. The Shadow Sword Cultivator Legion hadn't broken through yet, but he could clearly sense their strength slowly climbing. The ghost grass was still doing its work. Once they had fully absorbed the ghost grass, the Shadow Sword Cultivator core would hit mid-level 3-star strength. With the legions getting stronger, Guan Li was in high spirits. This was the perfect preparation for leaving tomorrow morning. As midnight rolled around, Guan Li started to feel drowsy. He decided to quit while he was ahead and drifted off to sleep. Gu and Shen Lian exchanged a look, both ready to guard Guan Li's side. The other legionnaires were guarding every corner of the classroom. As the night wore on, sleep was hard to come by. The survivors were still on edge. Up in the performance room, the 3 women quietly slipped back inside. Most of the students were still awake. The return of the 3 didn't raise any eyebrows. After all, people had been sneaking out. Nobody wanted to know what they were up to. After the events of the afternoon, most people had come to terms with reality. It was the end of the world, and they could die at any moment. Jiang Xin. I need to talk to you. After the 3 returned, a burly boy approached them. The other 2 women said nothing and went straight back to the performance room. Jiang Xin stared at the boy, lost in thought. She knew him, Li Zichao, one of her admirers. Let's go outside. It's too crowded in here. Jiang Xin averted her eyes and left the performance room. Lin Nana looked back, a hint of jealousy in her voice. Looks like Miss Zhang's already got a new target. Her tone dripped with sarcasm. Lin Nana. What's that supposed to mean? Still upset about getting ditched? Get over it. Li Zichao has been crushing on Xiaoxin forever. What's it to you? That girl was clearly closer to Jiang Xin. Hearing Lin Nana's words, she quickly chimed in. Shut up. Are you any better? Don't think I don't know, you've always had the hots for Li Zichao. Too bad. He's not interested, Lin Nana snapped. You nasty piece of work, the girl shot back. You. The two traded insults, then broke off in a huff. Li Zichao was one of the first to leave the building. There were a ton of zombies killed in the teaching building that day, according to Guan Li. Killing zombies made people stronger, and those boys who had killed zombies, had instantly become everyone's target of attention. Following these awakened people, would keep you safe, well, safer, at least. Ah chow. Are you serious about me? In a nearby classroom, Jiang Xin gave a shy smile. Of course. Xiaoxin. You know I'm crazy about you. I've been in love with you since high school, Li Zichao said, his face full of passion. I always felt insecure before, and not good enough for someone as great as you. But it's different now. I'm about to break through to 2-star strength. Trust me. I can protect you. Li Zichao slammed his fist on the desk, the hard wooden desk split right down the middle. Ah chow. I believe in you. Don't let me down. Jiang Xin wrapped her arms around him, her voice soft. Xiaoxin. I promise I'll treat you like a queen. Li Zichao leaned in for a kiss. Love was in the air. Such scenes weren't uncommon tonight. Plenty of girls with the right looks were using it to their advantage. They were finding their targets early. For them, it was just a matter of changing boyfriends. Of course, many girls still had standards, but in the end, everyone had to make their own choices. The cold moonlight blanketed the ravaged city, terrifying figures roamed the streets. They were finding hidden food. There was a terrifying roar and a terrified cry for help. Dilapidated streets. Collapsed buildings, burning vehicles, all of it screamed, this world no longer belongs to us. Chapter 26 Leaving Z University. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was a bit chilly that morning, a welcome change from the summer heat. Guan Li wasn't bothered by it. He opened his eyes and got out of his cot, looking out the window at the sun. Everything seemed peaceful enough, except for the thick black smoke rising in the distance. Otherwise, it would have been just another normal day, but Guan Li knew things weren't going back to normal. The skeleton soldier who died yesterday had been resurrected by the system. He immediately summoned it, the skeleton Warrior Legion was at full strength. After a night of absorbing energy, the Shadow Sword Cultivator Legion had leveled up to mid-level 1-star. Holding the Legion expansion card, Guan Li decided to use it on the Shadow Sword Cultivator Legion. Bone, of course, didn't mind, but Guan Li felt a twinge of guilt. After all, the Skeleton Warrior Legion was the first to follow him. But decisions like this would be common in the future. To keep things fair, he'd just have to find a way to make it up to the Skeleton Warrior Legion later. Bone. I promise I'll help you advance next time. That was Guan Li's word. Master. I'll support whatever you decide. That warmed Guan Li's heart. He wasn't sentimental, he had bigger things to worry about. He had a long way to go. Ding. The number of Shadow Sword Cultivators has increased by 10. The system chimed. In the classroom, a summoning circle appeared. 10 new Shadow Sword Cultivators slowly materialized before Guan Li. We serve, my lord. The newly summoned Shadow Sword Cultivators knelt respectfully. Rise. Guan Li gestured for them to stand. Thank you, my lord. Looking at his 40 legionnaires, Guan Li felt instantly more confident. He pulled out a food card and crushed it. A delicious breakfast appeared in front of him. Fried dough sticks, steamed buns, soy milk, a full spread. After asking Shen Lian, he learned that the Shadow Sword Cultivator Legion didn't need much food. They were sword cultivators, so fasting was normal for them. Guan Li shrugged and ate his breakfast. Is that the smell of meat buns? Wang Yu's nose twitched. He quickly opened his eyes. The others opened their eyes, too. They looked at Guan Li like wolves eyeing their prey. No way. They're mooching again. Guan Li scarfed down the steamed bun in a couple of bites. Hey, brother Li. Morning. Wang Yu got up and greeted him. Yeah. Time for me to bounce from Z University. Catch you guys later. Shutting his mouth, he said. Brother Li. Can I tag along with you? Wang Yu asked awkwardly. If you want to get strong, you've got to find your own path. Guan Li looked at him without emotion. Got it. I understand. Brother Li. I, Wang Yu, will never forget your kindness. With that, he said goodbye to Guan Li. See you later, Brother Li. Several people bid farewell. Go. I'm looking forward to the day we meet again. When Wang Yu and the others left the classroom, they disappeared. Guan Li waited a few more minutes, and when no one else showed up, he turned to leave. Just as he was heading downstairs, a voice called out in the distance, stopping him. Wait up. Guan Li. Wait for me. Zhang Xinyue came jogging towards him. Finally caught up. Sorry. We were held up by a zombie. Sorry to keep you waiting. Zhang Xinyue's clothes were stained black with blood. She also seemed much stronger. In just one night, she'd almost reached 2-star strength. Congrats. You chose the right path, Guan Li said with a smile. He didn't see the other 3 figures. He knew how it was. Everyone's choices were different. Some people wanted to be strong, others wanted to latch onto someone strong. Your words gave me a breakthrough. Thank you, Guan Li. Zhang Xinyue bowed. How many zombies did you take down last night? Did he shut his mouth and asked. I lost count. But at least 20, for sure. Zhang Xinyue paused before answering. 20 heads. Not bad. Guan Li nodded. Vision was poor at night, which made killing zombies a lot harder. What do you want to trade me for? Guan Li figured she had potential for investment. Weapons. Food. Zhang Xinyue said what she wanted. Guan Li glanced at the weapon in her hand. It was a flimsy, curved fruit knife, covered in blood. Deal. A machete materialized in Guan Li's hand. It wasn't pretty, but it was sharp, much better than a fruit knife. How much? Zhang Xinyue looked at the machete, liking its ruggedness. It'd definitely be a handy weapon for chopping zombies. She had saved a few crystal cores specifically for trading with Guan Li. 2 crystal cores. No kids' prices here. Guan Li held up 2 fingers. Investing was investing, but he couldn't lose too much money. The recycle value of that machete was 10 points. Okay. I'll trade. Zhang Xinyue didn't hesitate. Last night's zombie hunt had taught her just how important it was to have a decent weapon. Guan Li took the crystal cores and gave her the machete. What about food? What's the price? Zhang Xinyue asked. 10 pieces of bread, 10 ham sausages, 5 bottles of water. 2 crystal cores. Guan Li named a price that was close to what he paid. Could you go a little lower? I don't need the ham. Zhang Xinyue hesitated. Forget it. 1 crystal core. Consider it a loss leader. Guan Li could tell she was struggling. Thank you. Zhang Xinyue was overjoyed and quickly handed over the crystal core. Guan Li gave her the supplies. He also grabbed a rusty old shovel to throw in. He had no idea if it did anything special. He just thought he'd give it away. Huh? What's this? Zhang Xinyue looked at the shovel with curiosity. Ahem. It's a treasure. Whether you can unlock its power depends on your own insight. Guan Li put on his best mysterious face. Anyone else wouldn't have bought it, but Zhang Xinyue believed him. She took the shovel carefully and thanked him. Guan Li. I'll put it to good use. Zhang Xinyue clutched the shovel as if it were something precious. Guan Li started to worry he'd gone too far. What if she actually tried to use that thing to whack zombies? You gotta keep it safe. Don't use it to hit zombies. Got it? He quickly added. Yes, I understand. Zhang Xinyue tucked the shovel away. Gotta run. Time for me to head out. Catch you later. Guan Li waved and left with his legion. Guan Li. We'll definitely meet again. Zhang Xinyue watched him go. A faint red light flickered across the shovel she had put away. Guan Li didn't know that this shovel would change her life. Arriving at the school playground, he noticed that Huang Lingtian's body had already started to stink. He also noticed that there were signs that someone had been eating the corpse. Guan Li didn't dwell on it. He was leaving anyway. The lives and deaths of the students here were no longer his concern. Clearing out the zombies on the playground was the best he could do. he led his legion towards the school gate. Chapter 27 The Darkness Under the End Times. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Guan Li's leaving. Top floor performance hall. A crowd peered through the windows, watching the playground below. Nobody was getting any sleep, totally freaked out. Even dozing off meant risking getting dragged away. The performance hall was full of people with serious bags under their eyes. What? If Guan Li leaves, we're screwed. Who's gonna protect us now? That everyone had seen Guan Li's power. He was like our guardian angel. Now, that angel was ditching Z University. A lot of students just couldn't wrap their heads around it. Qin Xiong looked grim. He'd witnessed Guan Li's strength firsthand. The guy had single-handedly cleared out the zombies on the playground. The performance hall buzzed with worried chatter. Qin Xiong knew it was his moment to step up. Alright, everyone, calm down. Guan Li may be leaving, but we still have Huang Xiao, Li Zichao, and Wang Li. They're strong too. Guan Li was powerful, sure, but Qin Xiong couldn't control him. These other guys were a different story. He'd been working them hard all night, dangling some sweet deals, promising them the top spot on the Z team, then they'd get the best supplies and treatment. They had the muscle, and he had the vice principal title. It was a win-win, no doubt. These guys liked what they were hearing and jumped on board. Yeah, folks. Vice Principal Chen's right. We're not like Guan Li, that selfish jerk. As long as we're alive, we'll keep you all safe. We'll get through this crisis together. Seeing that Qin Xiong's words were getting results, they chimed in. They looked all righteous and dependable, instantly getting a round of applause. Yeah, that's the spirit. We all need to stick together in times like these. Plenty of people agreed. The girls were nodding, looking at them with admiration. Li Zichao's eyes were a little sunken. He'd clearly been putting in the work the previous night. On the other hand, Jiang Xian looked unusually vibrant, compared to the tired faces around her. The contrast was stark. Li Zichao's efforts had definitely made her glow. Xiaoxin. You look way better than yesterday. A girl walked over to Jiang Xian, her voice dripping with envy. This was the girl who'd gone with Jiang Xian to find Guan Li the previous night. Her name was Su Shui, and her dad was a county leader. Her family wasn't as loaded as Zhang Xinyue's, but they were still doing pretty well. Nah, Xiaoxue, you're seeing things. Jiang Xian smiled, radiating a new kind of confidence. Guys were turning their heads, drawn in by her charm. Xiaoxin. You're all about Li Zichao now. Don't forget about me. That bitch Lin Nana was bad-mouthing you yesterday. I heard her and let her have it. Su Shui knew what was up. She needed to buddy up to Jiang Xian. Ha! Lin Nana, huh? That little troublemaker, just you wait. Jiang Xian sneered. Under the leadership of the Awakened, the teams were quickly formed, 10 teams total, each with 50 to 100 people, each team led by an Awakened person. Teams with fewer Awakened people had more regular folks. Alright, everyone. The main building and a few nearby buildings are mostly clear of zombies. There's a ton of supplies in those places. Our job is to grab those supplies. Standing in front of the 10 teams was a young guy with earrings. He had a bit of a hoodlum vibe. The young man's name was Huang Xiao, a 2-star mid-level awakener. He also had a specialty, rock and soil warrior. During a fight, he could conjure up a piece of earth armor on his body. That earth armor was tough. Ordinary bullets weren't going to cut it. Got it. We'll get it done. The average students were pumped. This whole survival thing in the apocalypse was actually kind of exciting. Maybe it was the fact that a strong awakener was leading the way. Whatever it was, the fear was fading. But they'd soon get a taste of the real despair and fear of the end times. Guan Li didn't give a damn what the teachers and students of Z University thought of him. He was already crossing the playground. Behind the playground was the school library. The library doors were shut tight. A few dead zombies lay scattered around the entrance. The ground was covered in bloody smears, telling the story of a messy fight. As Guan Li walked past the library, he felt some hostile eyes on him. He looked up at the third-floor window. A few tough-looking guys were glaring at him. These weren't Z University students, that was for sure. Guan Li gave them a throat-slitting gesture, just to mess with them. The thugs hesitated, and then backed down. They drew the curtains and ignored him. Ha, good call. Guan Li didn't stick around. He kept walking toward the edge of campus. He didn't care what they were up to. it wasn't his problem, as long as they left him alone. Damn, bro. That guy's eyes. They were intense. Made me feel like I couldn't breathe. That on the third floor of the library, the thugs sighed in relief. Besides them, there were more than a dozen guys dressed like gangsters in the library, armed with machetes, crowbars, and baseball bats. A dozen or so students were huddled in a corner, some ragged-looking girls who had obviously been assaulted. The boys looked beaten down, obediently staying put, not daring to resist. Next time, keep your eyes open. This is the end of the world. If you pick the wrong fight, you deserve what you get, the man yelled. Yeah, got it. We'll remember that. Bro, what's the plan? The younger guy nodded, bowing his head and saying. You, come with me, the man said, pointing at a girl. The girl stood up, terrified. She didn't dare to disobey. The students who had fought back had been thrown to the zombies. She didn't want to die, so she had no choice but to give in. What are you staring at? I'll kill you. Some of the boys had just started to look up, but the gangsters started punching and kicking them. Facing these vicious guys, they'd lost any courage they had. Being a hero came with a price. The price was their lives. The blood on the ground was shocking. They didn't dare look up again, afraid they'd end up the same way. Tough luck. You ungrateful punks. If it wasn't for the boss, you'd be zombie chow already. Don't you think you owe us something in return? Back in the day, these college kids thought they were so much better than them. What about now? Begging for mercy now, huh? They were finding out, in this crazy apocalypse, things weren't so bad. Stuff they wouldn't even dream about back then. Now, with a little muscle, they could have it all. No rules. Strength talks. The darkness of the end times was starting to take shape. Chapter 28 The Venomous Downy Spider. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the library, Z University's gate isn't far. It used to be a bustling place, the object of every student's dreams. Now, it's just blood and corpses, a trashed security booth, blood-smeared windows, a twisted school gate. Even the monument honoring Z University's greatest achievements is stained crimson. This scene, combined with the wall, makes the words about teaching and enlightening seem like a sick joke. Ugh. Guan Li's arrival immediately drew the attention of the zombies guarding the entrance. These zombies, still wearing security uniforms, started shuffling towards him. Before he could give the order, the legionnaires charged forward. The shadow sword cultivator moved with deadly grace, his long sword flashing. Swish, swish, starved zombie heads rolled. Rest easy, Uncle Security Guards. May there be no zombies in heaven. Amen. That even though some zombies had evolved to 2-star strength overnight, they were still just cannon fodder against the Legion. Damn. These zombies are evolving fast, that even if the Legion could wipe them out easily, Guan Li had to admit they were leveling up quickly. The strength and speed of these 2-star zombies were a huge step up from the 1-stars. Over a dozen zombies yielded 3 2-star crystal cores and 1 white-green card. Regular zombies had a much lower chance of dropping crystal cores than the mutated ones. Guan Li took the crystal core and immediately started absorbing it. A warm current flowed through him, quickly. Being absorbed by his body, as his strength grew, he absorbed crystal cores faster and faster. After absorbing the crystal core, Guan Li crushed the white-green card, acquired advanced card X1. A pleasant little surprise, Guan Li didn't linger, heading straight for the school gate. Outside, it was a once bustling street, as a renowned university in Z City. A ton of money had been invested in developing the surrounding area. Now, that bustling street was eerily silent. Shops on both sides were splattered with horrifying blood. Guan Li noticed a long drag mark on the ground. All this screamed that the street was far more dangerous than it looked. Stepping out of the school gate, 3 options appeared in his mind. Option 1, stay at Z University, wait for the army to rescue you. Reward, physical potion X1. Option 2, leave along the street to the left. Reward, 2-star crystal core X5. Option 3, kill the hidden natural disaster monster on Z University Street. Reward, random skill X1. Without hesitation, Guan Li rejected the first option. The second option wasn't bad, basically 5 free 2-star crystal cores, but for Guan Li, getting 2-star crystal cores wasn't a problem. Option 3, rewarding a random skill, was the best even with the gamble. Let's go. Let's check it out. Guan Li led the legion onto the quiet student street. No zombies were in sight. That only made Guan Li more cautious. Natural disaster monsters were way more dangerous than regular zombies. Boss. It's too quiet here. Something's not right. Bone raised his bone shield, looking around warily. Yeah. Everyone, be careful, Guan Li warned. He wasn't too worried. His 40 legionnaires were all 3-star soldiers. They could take on a 4-star monster. As they went deeper into the street, Guan Li felt the temperature plummet. He glanced back. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary at the street's entrance. Inside the shops, he saw several headless corpses. Creepy. Guan Li frowned. The street was completely silent, like it had been cut off from the world. Swish, star. The silence was broken by a sudden noise. Guan Li scanned his surroundings, but saw nothing. Boss. I think the sound came from. Shen Lian paused, his expression serious. Hearing Shen Lian's words, Guan Li realized something was off. The sound wasn't coming from around them, but from above. But he looked up sharply at the sky above the street. It was covered in a massive spider web. Spiders were crawling out of the buildings on both sides, spiders bigger than humans, 8 spider legs extended, nearly 10 feet long. These spiders had green fuzz on their backs, legs, and under their jaws. Fist-sized compound eyes spun constantly. Guan Li glanced at one, and the natural disaster monster's information appeared. Name, Venomous Fuzzy Spider. Potential, 5 stars. Strength, 2 stars. Abilities, webbing, poisonous fuzz, spider lance sting. / Evaluation, an abyss natural disaster monster. Absorbs highly toxic substances and grows highly toxic green fuzz. A highly poisonous fuzzy spider hanging on the web spat silk at Guan Li. Guan Li's pupils narrowed, and he rolled to the side. The spider's silk hit the ground, piercing the concrete. Damn! That spider's silk. Guan Li stared at the destroyed ground, suddenly feeling a tightening in his gut. Star. A dozen highly poisonous fuzzy spiders started shooting silk at the same time. The soldiers scrambled to dodge. The spider web was 20 feet above the ground. The skeleton soldiers couldn't reach them. The shadow sword cultivator focused his sword energy, attacking the fuzzy spiders. Shen Lian tried to cut the spider silk, but it was incredibly strong. The sword energy bounced off with a clang. Want to keep cutting? How about we burn you instead? Guan Li pulled out the black iron crossbow and loaded a fire bolt. Everyone, fall back to the store. He gave the order, and all the legionnaires retreated into the shops. Whoosh. 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 *3 fire bolts shot out, hitting the spider web. Flames spread across the web. The air instantly turned into an inferno. Thud, thud, thud. Fuzzy spiders fell to the ground. Their bodies were engulfed in flames, and they screamed. Go! Get M! Guan Li saw the poisonous fuzzy spiders on the ground and charged forward with the legionnaires. Let's go! Kill! The battle cry echoed through the air. Green spider blood spurted out. The Qinfeng blade slashed at a spider, leaving a deep cut. Hiss. The spider shrieked. Guan Li pressed his advantage, smashing its brains. The poisonous fuzzy spider collapsed, dead. Killed poisonous fuzzy spider, gained 100 points. Bone raised his shield, smashing another spider's head. Shen Lian thrust his sword, piercing a spider's brain. The legionnaires swarmed, and the spiders couldn't defend themselves. Killed poisonous fuzzy spider, gained 95 points. Killed poisonous fuzzy spider, gained 110 points. Killed poisonous fuzzy spider, gained 120 points. The system notifications kept popping up. Chapter 29 Scarlet Queen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Think you're so slick with that silk? Keep spitting, see what happens. Guan Li yelled, kicking the dead spider on the ground. Those dozen super poisonous fuzzball spiders got him 1350 points, plus, he got 8 2-star crystal cores and 5 dark green random cards. Guan Li glanced at the corpses littering the place, puzzled. He'd wiped out all the natural disaster monsters, so why wasn't the quest complete yet? Roar! Just as Guan Li was scratching his head, a furious screech echoed around him. the windows of the nearby shops cracked from the force of it. Knew it couldn't be that easy. Guan Li looked up, a massive spider was clinging to the wall, its pairs of scarlet eyes were locked on him, sizing him up. Holy crap! This thing's almost as big as a tank. The giant spider on the wall was blood red all over, 8 razor-sharp spider legs were stained with a strange, bloody residue, a dark red grimace pattern pulsed on its massive back, the pattern shifted constantly, like it was alive. Guan Li's gaze flicked over it, and the system instantly supplied the monster's stats: name, Crimson Queen, boss level, potential, 7 stars, strength, 3-star advanced, abilities, web cannon, blood frenzy, bash, ghost. Whale, 8-legged fury, Queen's command, assessment, an abyss-born natural disaster monster, a one-of-a-kind spider queen with the power to command spider swarms. Guan Li was relieved he'd arrived when he did. The spider queen hadn't hatched many minions yet, otherwise, he'd be in serious trouble. A dozen super poisonous fuzzball spiders. No sweat, but dozens. Hundreds. Even he couldn't handle that. Roar! The Crimson Queen glared at Guan Li. It had painstakingly created those few super poisonous fuzzball spiders, taken a ton of blood and food to raise them to 2 stars, and now, while it was napping, this human had wiped them all out. Its roar seemed to scream, "You'll pay for killing my kids. Please. You're just one lonely spider, barking in front of an army. Never seen such a cocky spider. Let's get it, people." Guan Li pulled out the black iron repeating crossbow and fired a shot. He used armor-piercing arrows, leftovers from killing the brutes, *thwack, star. The armor-piercing arrow hit the Crimson Queen, sparking against its hide. The Crimson Queen had grown a carapace, its defenses were even tougher than the brutes. Even the armor-piercing arrow just left a white mark, it couldn't penetrate. As expected from a boss. This thing's strong. Guan Li's face grew serious. This Crimson Queen was definitely a mini-boss. Roar! The Crimson Queen, enraged, surged forward on its spider legs, spears lowered. It swore it would tear Guan Li into pieces. Protect the master. Bone raised his shield, stepping in front of Guan Li. Kill! Shen Lian shouted, leading the charge with his long sword. The shadow sword cultivators swarmed around the Crimson Queen. Hiss! The Crimson Queen froze, looking around warily. It felt threatened by the strength of the shadow sword cultivators. It couldn't understand, how could an ant command so many powerful underlings? Of course, it would never understand, not even in death. Sword control. Shen Lian flung his long sword. The sword sliced through the air, homing in on the Crimson Queen, *Xing, star. The blade grazed one of the Crimson Queen's spider legs, drawing a line of blood. Shen Lian controlled the flying sword, relentlessly slashing at the Crimson Queen. The surface of the flying sword was imbued with shadow essence. This greatly increased its power. It easily bypassed the Crimson Queen's defenses. More than 20 shadow sword cultivators performed sword control. Simultaneously, the sight was amazing. Whoa! That's awesome. Guan Li watched the flying swords rain down on the Crimson Queen. The monster swung its legs, but the defenders retreated without falling. This was the first time the shadow sword cultivators had really cut loose. They were strong. Under the shadow sword cultivators' onslaught, the Crimson Queen was getting hurt, but it was still a boss-level monster, and it fought like one. Web burst. The Crimson Queen opened its spinnerets and spat out a massive glob of webbing. The webbing billowed in the wind, turning into huge nets. The shadow sword cultivators used shadow step to evade the attack. Seeing this, the Crimson Queen spun around, trying to run. It was advanced 3-star, sure, but it was also getting weak. The shadow sword cultivators were all intermediate 3-star. In a group fight, they could beat it down. While there's life, there's hope. It would just have to hatch more minions and come back for revenge. As leader, the Crimson Queen wasn't dumb. It had to be able to lead its troops, but now it wanted to escape. Too late. Shadow Bind. Shen Lian switched tactics, using another skill. A chain of shadows snaked towards the Crimson Queen. The shadow chain wrapped around the Crimson Queen's legs, tripping it. Hiss! Crimson Rage. The grimace on its back and its eyes glowed blood red. The Crimson Queen's strength surged. The shadow chain groaned as it was pulled taut. the remaining shadow sword cultivators quickly unleashed shadow bind. More than 20 black shadow chains bound the Crimson Queen. It looked like a massive dumpling. Although the Crimson Queen's strength had increased, it couldn't break free. The dense shadow chains were wrapped completely around its body. Time for us to get in on this. Seeing that Shen Lian had the monster pinned, he charged in with the skeleton warriors. Casting shadow bind required complete concentration. Guan Li wasn't about to be left out either. He grabbed his Qingfeng saber and joined the fray. The skeleton warriors launched triple slash. The bone blades hacked at the Crimson Queen. Foul green blood spurted everywhere. The Crimson Queen struggled, but it couldn't move. It could only take the skeleton warriors' blows. Careful. This thing might have a mental attack. Seeing that the Crimson Queen had stopped struggling, Guan Li knew something was up. Immediately, he knew the monster must be planning something. Sure enough, Guan Li knew what was coming. The Crimson Queen exploded, the grimace on its back twisted violently, quickly cycling through countless shapes. At the same time, a wave of maddening sound washed out from it. It had been holding back this entire time for this one big attack. Mental attacks were tricky. Even if you were strong, they were hard to resist. The soldiers staggered, frozen in place by the psychic assault. Seeing this, the Crimson Queen frantically dragged itself away. It was running on fumes. Even if it could kill a few soldiers, it would die in the process. The ghost wail only lasted for 3 seconds. Against someone with real mental fortitude, it would be even shorter. Think you can get away? Not a chance. Guan Li saw the Crimson Queen scuttling up the wall, trying to escape. There was no way he was going to let that happen. Prey had to know its place. He used Shadow Dash, intercepting and killing the Crimson Queen. Chapter 30 Unexpected Joy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Whoa! The Scarlet Queen was stumped. Why wasn't this human affected? Guan Li wasn't tricked, all thanks to his immune gene. Ignoring all negative effects wasn't just a boast. The Scarlet Queen let out a mournful cry. She never imagined she'd be killed by a human. Guan Li's Qingfeng knife plunged into the Scarlet Queen's head, right into a crack made by the skeleton warrior. Thunk, star, the sound of the blade piercing flesh and bone. The Scarlet Queen's massive body wobbled and crashed to the ground. Guan Li yanked out the knife, white brain matter oozing out. Scarlet Queen slain. 2,000 points awarded. Barrier Aura X1. Objective complete. Teleport X1 acquired. The system's message flashed in his mind. Guan Li grinned. These skills sounded awesome. With the Scarlet Queen gone, the soldiers slowly snapped out of it. They looked around, confused. My lord! I was bewitched by that monster. Forgive me. I deserve to die. Shen Lian dropped to one knee before Guan Li. His first act upon regaining his senses was to apologize. Master! I have failed you. Bone also knelt. The other soldiers followed suit. Get up. It's not your fault. Everyone, stand up. Guan Li surveyed the kneeling soldiers. Yes, sir. Thank you, my lord. Thank you, master. The soldiers rose and resumed their guard positions. Guan Li noticed a light blue card that had dropped from the Scarlet Queen. He'd never seen a card of that color before. Next to it was a crystal-clear crystal nucleus. It had been inside the Scarlet Queen's head, a 3-star nucleus. It radiated intense energy, not a huge haul, but definitely valuable stuff. This crystal alone was worth fighting for. Guan Li held 8 2-star nuclei in his hands, spoils from the poisonous Downy spider he'd fought earlier. He absorbed them immediately. Pure energy surged through him. The bottleneck he'd been approaching vanished instantly. 2-star advanced. Guan Li kept absorbing. He grabbed the 3-star nucleus. Boom. Star. The energy coursing through his body felt like a raging river. Guan Li gritted his teeth, enduring the raw power washing over him. This energy fortified his body, making him stronger. The absorption lasted a full 10 minutes. When he opened his eyes, his aura had completely changed. This is the power of a 3-star. Guan Li clenched his fist, feeling limitless strength. The second day of the apocalypse, while everyone else was struggling to survive, he was already crushing it. Teleport. Instantly move 10 meters in any direction. Cooldown, 120 seconds. He checked out his new skill. Sweet, he exclaimed. Imagine, in a fight, suddenly appearing behind someone. Even with the 120-second cooldown, this skill was a game changer. Teleport. Guan Li stepped forward and activated the teleport. He vanished. A split second later, he reappeared 10 meters down the street. My lord! Amazing! Master! You rock! The two commanders quickly brown-nosed, the soldiers cheered, perfect tools. Ahem! Keep it down! You're making me blush, Guan Li coughed. Besides teleport, killing the Scarlet Queen had also granted another skill, Barrier Aura. Cast a barrier aura on all Legion targets, granting immunity to one negative effect. Guan Li's eyes lit up after reading the description. He'd been wondering how to protect his Legion from mental attacks. The barrier aura solved everything. After learning the skill, Guan Li cast it on his troops. A golden halo shimmered around them, quite striking. The halo lasted 5 minutes before fading, meaning, for those 5 minutes, his soldiers were immune to all negative effects. Guan Li was stoked. Both teleport and barrier aura were incredible skills. They made all the effort worth it. Guan Li eyed the 5 green cards and opened them all. Acquire advanced card X1. Acquire intermediate advanced card X1. Obtain undead spider lance X1, imbued with potent undead chi, accelerates cultivation. Obtain AK-47 firearm X1, classic gangster weapon, powerful but with heavy recoil. Acquire genetic fertilizer X1, modified fertilizer, accelerates plant growth. Guan Li was a little let down. The rewards weren't great, but he understood. He'd just received 2 god-tier skills, 2 more would be too much. That's just ridiculous, even for a cheat. The Skeleton Warrior Legion was currently maxed out. Further upgrades required a Legion advancement, while the undead spider lance could be used by the Shadow Sword troop. It would be better if he waited. Guan Li put away the spear for future use. Is this the AK-47, the gangster special? Guan Li hefted the gun. He pulled the trigger, firing at the nearby shops. Even holding it one-handed, it didn't shake at all. His 3-star strength meant he could ignore the recoil. Awesome! He emptied the magazine and stowed the gun. When he played FC, he always dreamed of using a real AK-47. Today, that dream came true. Not extravagance, but a dream fulfilled. With all the rewards unlocked, Guan Li had only the light blue card left. He examined it closely. The design was clear, a large tree reaching into the sky. With a soft blue glow, he crushed the card. Obtain random Legion card X1. No way. I hit the jackpot. Guan Li felt a rush of happiness. He actually got a Legion card. A golden card materialized in his hand. The back was still a door, the front a question mark. Holding the card, Guan Li felt a surge of excitement. What kind of Legion would he get this time? He crushed the random Legion card. Ding! Congratulations! Host has acquired the Elven Archer Legion. After the golden card shattered, a new card appeared. The back still showed the mysterious door, but the question mark had transformed into a pointy-eared elf girl. Curvaceous figure, delicate features, blonde hair, and blue eyes.